Uh, Good day and good night and good times to all my brothers and sisters listening to me, seeing me visually. Today's topic is a very important topic, and I picked this topic because there was a my reel was served with this type of content. Not my reels, basically my section of stories. I see people being couple, which was a fantasy of me too. So it's a very important topic. Why it is very important is interesting to know. Why is it really important to talk about the phenomenon of being loved? Okay, what is love? People who are materialistic, people who have read Karl Marx, or people who are communist, even the people who are capitalist, don't though they don't say it directly, even the people who are socialist, basically socialist capitalistic mindset of people, referring to the people who are ambitious like USA, have never accepted it but have always said love to be something which is metaphysical. There is nothing such as love. It is all hormonal, it is all physical, it is all psychological. People get attracted to each other just because of the biological needs and biological evolution that needs them to produce more genome copies and offsprings. And so, from the perspective of them, I'm not saying that science says it, though science supports it and have a backing of the theory of evolution. But remember, science is a very neutral subject. Science is something which gives you a medium to communicate and interpret something. At the end, the conscious beings like us are here to interpret the meanings of things, because science is something which can be misused, which has been misused by Hitler, saying the theory of evolution, and he wanted to fulfill his political deeds. So, Aryan, pure Aryans. So, we won't go into that. Science is not saying that love is something which is just hormonal, though it supports, and scientific studies do speak about the hormonal changes that happen in the body. But today we will talk about three types of love. I have a whole essay on it. I'll put it on the community post. It's a very interesting essay. It briefly talks about love, and here I will try to speak much more about it, how I really want to subdue my feelings and my expression and my experience of this thing. So, here we go. The topic of the video is the phenomenon of being loved. First of all, why do I say the phenomenon? See, some things which are present in the reality are noumenon, and things that we perceive from those present reality is known as phenomenon. So, love is something which is subjectively experienced and perceived. That is why the phenomenon word is used. Being loved. Being loved is a very vague term. It's a whole spectrum, much bigger than the electromagnetic spectrum itself. If a person really thinks about it, the literature that has been written on love is immense. Even I get exhausted in my mind seeing the amount of literature that has been written on love. And love is a topic that is an essential theme in every kind of literature or in every kind of lives of people. 80% is based on love. So let's get into it. See, what I understand of love is a simple phase of four. We're not talking about biological needs and sexuality at all. Definitely, that's also a spectrum of love. But today we are discussing something higher to that. That is just physical. And sometimes it's emotional because physiologically, the interaction of physiologies of two different bodies do create some hormones, and there is scientific backing to it that emotions and hormones generated in brain which make the person happy, like melatonin and all that, is definitely an essential part to it. It's not just physical, then it's something emotional too. But we are not going in that part of the spectrum. We are talking about the part of spectrum which most of the people say is a beautiful spectrum, because in the normal person's life, those moments are not more than 2 minutes. You know that, right? So let's talk about the moment that is mostly occupied, that has mostly occupied the time of a person. Our lifetimes go behind the pursuit of pursuing these fulfillments. Fulfillments of society is on the second, but fulfillment for the love, being loved, is on the first. This topic is very complicated. This topic has opinions of thousands of people, but I wanted to talk about this because it's an important thing to be talked about. So let's break down this from the perspective of a teenager. There are four phases in the life of a teenager, and I'm assuming this is a boy because I'm talking about the male perspective. If there is some person who is female here, can definitely talk about in the comments, because truly speaking, honestly speaking, I don't know the perspective how attraction, infatuation, and love and emotional bonding and emotional availability works in the female mind. Male mind, though minds are almost same, but yet very different. Physiological differences create big manifestations in the minds. So there is a big and lot of difference between female understanding of love and male understanding of love. So let's divide it into four categories. First category is attraction. This is a phase where people get attracted to each other, like two magnets get attracted to each other. This can be dual, that is, both of them get attracted to each other due to some kinds of physical attributes or behavior attributes or habits, or kind the way they talk, the way they speak, or whatever. It's basically the physical attraction, very vague term that is used, which is a very Gen Z term, aura of the person. It's like vibe of the person. Basically, that vibe word comes from the vibrations of that person. So basically, the physical attribute of that person is something which attracts the other. So the first thing is that sometimes, and mostly in the cases that I know and I have experienced, it is very mono. That means only one person is attracted to the other. The other one rarely feels that, right? So it's a very coincidental thing that two people get attracted to each other. Now, this is the physical attribute thing, which is attraction. The other one is infatuation. Now, this person who is attracted to that one other person feels infatuated, and the word of infatuation means that he dreams about him or thinks about him. His mind get obsessed about that other person, and he imagines him or her with her or him in a dream sort of situation in the mind. To much better understand this, I would recommend you The White Nights, written by Fyodor Dostoevsky, a Russian literature book famously known for the emotional kind of love, tragedy, and all that story. A very important character in that, which gets so called, cheated in emotions, explains it very perfectly how he dreams about a reality where his lover and he exists, which is perfectly working according to him. But that's not our reality, the existence in which we exist. So, now, this infatuation turns it into an obsession. See, the level of obsession depends upon the first thing, attraction. How strong that attraction was and how strongly that person wants it. See, one another perspective and one another important part to this is the validation from the society. As I have experienced, most of the people get into a relationship or get into any sort of boyfriend girlfriend terminology that we use today in that kind of relations just because there is a societal pressure to them. So, for example, that person says, or their friends, for an individual, their friend says, oh, I have a girlfriend, oh, I have a boyfriend, oh, I have got into a relationship with this guy and now I'm breaking up. So that kind of scenario it happens around the people. There is a kind of societal pressure just like other things. Oh, I am doing engineering, oh, I have started pursuing my medical career. So the kind of pursuit people aspire for, this is one of them also. That is another thing. So there is a desperation which also plays role in this third stage of love, very big broad spectrum, which is obsession. So that desperation due to societal pressure to get into a relationship also gives fuel to this desperation and obsession. Now, this person gets obsessed. I'm making a whole flowchart, by the way. First, when it's attraction, either it's one way or two way. If it is two way, then it gets and manifested into attraction directly, which is a simple one nod here. But now, if it's a one way, then it gets into bifurcated further into infatuation. Maybe it's possible that from this point infatuation happens to both, then another there is a nod where relationship starts, or it's just for a single guy going like this from node, this node of infatuation, the other guy, single infatuation is happening, and then obsession. A bit complicated, but I guess you get it, right? Then obsession happens and person feels bad emotionally because the other person is not responding in the way he imagines and he wants or she wants to her or him to respond to him or her. So now this obsession can take various paths. We'll not go to describe it because there are things we can describe, a lot probabilities and scenarios that can happen, and it would take hours and hours to talk about it. But I'm talking in general. And we are trying to understand this very broad topic of being loved, why it is so essential to everyone's life. Maybe there are reasons, some psychological reasons, that a child who is troubled and traumatized in his childhood may want some kind of comfort and loving from his partner. Maybe some other issues, maybe daddy issues, mommy issues, spread parents issues, traumatic childhood. Thousands of ways, thousands of psychological reasonings could happen for the person to be in the pursuit of love. That's a very innocent way. Sometimes it's very cruel and bad. Maybe I would say it's very evil, if I can say so. I mean, there is a kind of dishonesty in love which turns out into cheating. So there is thousands of branches which I can open, but what I incidentally wanted to talk about is this thing which we never talk about, or actually we talk about it whole day, is never touched really. It's a very deep thing, and I want to subjectively pursue you into this direction. We have talked about the stages. Obsession ke baad maybe there is a chance of a relationship or a heartbreak, so on and so forth. This long flowchart continues in thousand different ways and thousand different probability scenarios. But the important thing that I wanted to point out in this whole video is we all are in the pursuit of love. Whether it's the love of a relationship, whether it's love of people in society, whether it's love of money, everyone is commonly wanting love. Don't we see it around? What do you think? What does Elon Musk want? He wants validation. He wants people to understand his idea, his ambition, his tornado type ambition to reach Mars, and people should validate it. He wants the people to love his ambition. He wants it. Similarly, a politician just wants the love of people, the love of fame. Similarly, any other billionaire and everyone in their lives is somewhere inspiring to be inspiring to being loved. It is something which is generally not asked to each other to talk about, but we all are in a pursuit of it. So that is why I wanted to talk about it, and this is just a first video. I'll talk about it a lot because my ideas are totally original to me. It could be a very wrong statement, but my subjective experience is to be put out honestly. Maybe my ideas could be converging to other people, but I just want to put it crude and raw without any kinds of filters. So, love is a very coincidental thing or a very rare thing. It is a coincidence if it happens between two individuals, or it's a very rare thing that it happens between two individuals. This is love. Being loved is always a desire to be loved by the other. But in this spectrum of love, which is horizontal, there is another spectrum which is totally perpendicular to this, or is in a different plane altogether to this spectrum lying in xy plane. This very spectrum of love, this very different dimension of love, is just the word love. This spectrum is designated by the word being loved. Everything comes in cheating, relationships, heartbreaks, all that. BS comes in this. I'm saying BS because I am hurted right now, okay? Don't take it seriously. It's an essential part of the worldly pleasures and all that and worldly workings. It's a BS for me right now. Maybe sometime after it would be beautiful to me. But right now it's BS to me, this very plane of being loved. There is a different dimension of love which very few people reach. Spirituals call it self love or love to God or love to the individual. It's very difficult to define that. It's very difficult to put it in words, but it's a feeling which is not to be taken from the other, but to be generated within oneself. I don't know how perfect or how correct it is to say it as a feeling, but it's something much more immensely expressive and beautiful, which I have experienced for some times. Whenever I listen to Kun Faya Kun or Maula Mere Maula or any kind of those songs, lyrics are beautiful, and those lyrics makes one transcendent from the world. Actually, we are all in pursuit of love, and when we don't get it, we try to hide it in the unawareness. And it's very important for me to talk about it. For obviously, you can also talk about it, but it's something that I really want for you guys to understand that love is something to be really aspired for, and love should be the defining feature of everyone's life. And I hope and bless you all that you get into the circle of being love and then transcendent it to get into the dimension of love. It was immensely hard for me to talk on this topic. Actually, I'm saying to you, I mean, I can talk on philosophy because I'm a rational person. I'm a person who talks in facts. But when I talk in love, I have I don't have enough words to talk about in any language, whether it's Hindi or English. I can't properly talk when I talk in love. So if you felt it bad, so sorry guys. हरि ओम तत्सत. आज के लिए बस इतना ही.